Okay, I forgot to turn this on. I just remembered to. So, went over the homework, went over the bell work. That was the bell work. That was another bell work problem. And we went over 2 questions. Are we ready to correct the assignment? Okay, everybody. So everybody go to page 203. Okay, hey you guys. Hey, I don't care if it's the same size as the one on this thing right here, but I want you to draw 2 triangles, kind of like I did right here. But you do need to make them congruent, Matt. Matt, turn around. You're going to make them congruent. Okay? So, like, if I put B right here, and I go over 2 and up 3 on this one, then down here I got to go over. This one got moved. So this one right here, I'm going to go over 2 and up 3. Okay? Same thing. Okay, make 2 triangles. AC corresponds to FG. And my BC is congruent to EG. How do we know that these are congruent, you guys? Yeah, they're the same triangle. You should know by lining one up on top of the other one, right? Okay. maybe the way you cut it up. That number 2 on the last assignment was kind of what we're talking about right here. Okay? So what I did is I showed all the corresponding parts congruent. Angle A congruent to angle F, angle B to angle E, angle C to angle G, and so forth. I had to turn this on. You guys, A goes to F, so A and F, Trey. A goes to F, so they each go first. B goes to E, so they each go second. And C goes to G, so they each go second. I keep forgetting to turn it on, but it's on right now. Okay, now, make sure you get the corresponding parts matched up. Write a triangle congruent statement for yours if it's different than mine. Okay? You know, you guys, some of the simple things in geometry are the things that trip you up later on. If you remember that if you have 2 congruent triangles, that they put them in order of congruence. Okay? They put them in order of congruence. So make sure you get that. A to F, B to E, and C to G. They put them in the corresponding parts. Any questions there? Okay, let's go to the next one. I want you to write this down in your notes. If a triangle can be translated, rotated, or reflected onto another triangle so that all the vertices correspond, the triangles are congruent triangles. Okay? In other words, if you can put one triangle up on top of the other and they match up just perfect, then these triangles are congruent triangles. The parts of triangles that match are called corresponding parts. I'm going to show you how these correspond. says list the corresponding parts. I'm going to go A. A corresponds to what, you guys? F. What about B? What does B correspond to here? D. And C corresponds to D. We got that? By the way, every triangle has how many parts that correspond? 6. How do you know 6? Who said 6? Matt, how did you get 6? 6 sides, that's right. 3 vertices and 3 sides. So name me a side. AC. What does AC correspond to? FE. Do I have to write it as FE or can I write it as EF? It has to match whatever I write over here, right? Since I went from A to C, and A corresponds to F, F would have to go first. Okay, name me another side. BC. What does BC correspond to? DE. And what's the last side that we haven't done? AB. What does AB correspond to? FD. Those are the corresponding parts, but those parts are also congruent if those two triangles are congruent, right? So I could have put a congruent symbol in between them. Does that make sense? Okay. Is everybody ready to go on? Okay. CPCTC, everybody write that down. CPCTC. It stands for this. That's what it stands for. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Write it down. Okay, next one. Example right here. Everybody's got to look at this one. If, Matt and Trey, listen. If triangle PQR is, actually let's have someone read that. I'm going to have Jessica read that for me. Okay, so are these two triangles congruent? Do they appear to be congruent? Okay, they appear to be congruent, right? Okay, so we're going to do congruent marks. Do you guys know how they do congruent marks? Yeah. So if I make this one 1, which part corresponds to PQ, you guys? ML. So I put 1 on that one. Okay, write that down. Okay, write this down. You guys need to understand slash marks like this. Hatch marks sometimes is what they call. Okay? So PQ and ML are congruent. What else is congruent? PR and MN. Can I just put 1 on each of these? Why not? Yeah, I would say it's congruent to PQ, and it's not. PR is congruent to MN. But PR is not congruent to PQ or ML, right? So you got to have a different size. Okay, what else is congruent? RQ and LN. So since we already used 2 on the other one, we've got to use 3 on this one. So those parts are all congruent. How do I show angles are congruent? Well, do that. This book, you guys, is different than most books I've seen. This is how this book does it. By the way, which one does R correspond to? So it puts 2 marks corresponds to N. And Q corresponds to, so I'm going to put 3 marks on this one, 3 arcs. Okay. By the way, let me just show you off to the side right here. There are some books that go like this. In fact, most books go like that. If it's 3 and 3, they'll put an arc with 3 slashes through it. But this one's a little bit different. It puts 3 arcs. Okay? Okay, now, I know this kind of stuff is kind of boring, you guys, but you have to understand this stuff to understand the stuff we're doing later on. You got to know the notation or you won't understand later on. Okay, this one right here. Okay, we want to write a congruent statement for these 2 triangles. All we have to do is say what triangle is congruent to what, and we have to have everything in the right order. Who thinks they know? I want everybody to write it down and show your shoulder partner. Write it down what you think it is and show your shoulder partner. Saying one triangle is congruent to the other. Make sure you have them right. Write down a congruent statement. In other words, triangle this is congruent to triangle this. Show your shoulder partner. If you don't have a shoulder partner, show someone else. Okay, Matt, you got this down yet? Just so you can show someone. Mitchell, you got it? Okay, what did you have? Well, that's an angle. I want the whole triangle. IHG. So triangle IHG is congruent to triangle. What'd you say? What'd you say? KHJ. You guys, does he have this? By the way, I gotta put a triangle there. Does he have these in the right order? IHG. So I corresponds to what? Okay, so they have to both go first. They both have the 1 mark on them, right? H corresponds to H. G corresponds to J because they both have the 3 marks, right? So that's how you write it. Do I have to write IHG in that order, or could I write it in a different order? Could I write GHI? If I write GHI, though, what order do I have to put the other thing in? JHK, right? So just whatever order you put the first one in, make sure the second one's in that order. Okay. Triangle RST is congruent to XYZ. So find RST and XYZ. By the way, so what does R correspond to? X. And S corresponds to? And T to Z, right? Find the value of N. Right here. 2N plus 10. There's N. N equals what? How are you getting 3? Well, it's not saying 2 plus 3. Well, you guys, which one does Y correspond to? S, because Y and S are the second ones. So this 2N plus 10 has to be equal to 50, right? So I can write 2N plus 10 equals 50 because those two are congruent, right? And then I can solve that. What do I do to solve it? Minus 10. What would I get? 40. Then what do I do? Divide by 2, and what would I get? So N equals 20. How many of you think you can do a problem like that again? Okay. Okay, next one. I want you to do problems 1 and 3 through 9 with your shoulder partner. Everybody needs one, so let's do this. Johnny, come right here. And then I want Matt, you to working with Trey. And Lindsay, I'll come and talk to you about yours, okay? I want you guys to do 1 and 3 through 9. This is how I want you to do it. I want you to take turns. You don't need to write this down. Well, write it down to figure it out. I want to check your answers as I come around, so maybe do write it down, but we're not going to turn it in. Oh, sorry. Page 205. Thank you. Page 205. Okay, we're going to check those problems. Number one says explain what it means when one triangle is congruent to another. Basically, it means they have the same size and shape. Everybody write that down. Congruent means the same size and shape. What did you guys put? What are your answers? Is that what you put? Means they have the same size and they have the same shape. Can some have the same shape but not be the same size? Could you? Yeah, that's called like a scale model. You can have an airplane, and then you can have a small scale model replica of it, right? They're the same shape, but they're not the same size. Okay, and triangles are the same way. Okay, so they have to have the same shape and they have to have the same size, both. Okay, number 3 should be, check your work, see if you get it right. Number 3 is angle C. Number 4 is angle D. Number 5 is side DF. Number 6 is side BC. And number 8 is triangle FED in that order, FED. And number 9 is DEF in that order. So how many of you guys got 100%? Okay, good. All right, here's your assignment. Let me just move this. Okay, here is your assignment, you guys. Write it down. I'm going to turn this off in a second.